know, man. Wow. I did not. Nowhere close. I did not anticipate what we seen at the end of SmackDown tonight. Holy shit. Not that it really matters to anybody. It really doesn't matter to anybody. It doesn't matter to Sasha. It doesn't matter to Bayley. It doesn't matter to Alexa or Nikki Cross. It doesn't matter to the WWE fans. It doesn't matter to the women's division. It doesn't matter. I even said so on social media. It doesn't really make any sort of difference what happens here. But I would like to see Sasha Banks and Bayley win the Women's Tag Team Championships. Now, I have my own reasons. For wanting that and needing that in my pro wrestling weekly programming life. Doesn't have anything to do with Alexa Bliss and my disdain for Alexa Bliss. It doesn't have anything to do with Nikki Cross or the fact that I think the women's tag team titles are completely irrelevant in every sense of the word, which they are. It has more to do with the creative side of things for Sasha Banks and Bayley and what they are building towards, which in my eyes, those two and the upcoming feud that they're about to embark on is the most important thing not only in the women's division, but probably on SmackDown. So I can't wait to see what they do, but I am legitimately shocked that Sasha Banks finally has a goddamn championship around her waist. She always feels like and seems like she's the only horsewoman that doesn't have championship gold. It seems like out of everybody in that Elite Four, Sasha Banks is always getting the short end of the stick. So I'm glad to see that she's got some championship gold, irrelevant or not, around her waist. She's a championship caliber pro wrestler. So I'm glad to see that. That was the big thing on tonight's show. Outside of that, nothing else really happened. I mean, you were better off tuning into Nick at Night or Nickelodeon and watching an episode of Double Dare if you wanted to get any more entertainment, more so than SmackDown, because that's exactly what this show reminded me of. We got AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan. That was great tonight. Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, face-to-face tonight, going over why each of them should be the new Intercontinental Champion. I'll tell you who I want to win and why later on in the show. We got Jeff Hardy's situation. He was there to explain his side of the story last week with the big hit-and-run angle that opened up the show and kind of triggered everybody on social media. I did my best to explain it. I did my best to kind of be in the middle of the people who did not like it and the people who did like it. I wasn't really bothered by it. I gave my best interpretation of why this and why that and why this didn't happen and why that didn't happen and why they were both taken out of the tournament, etc., etc. But Jeff Hardy was there to explain his story about the hit and run. And we got, obviously, if you watched, Elias out of action for whatever reason. I don't know what's happening with Elias. We'll figure that out as the weeks go on. He might be hurt. I have no idea. But last Friday's show opened up with Elias being hit by a car outside the Performance Center. Hardy was taken into custody, but he returned at the end of the show and attacked Sheamus. WWE announced after the show went off the air that Hardy was released from custody by the Orlando police after successfully passing the required sobriety test, therefore absolving Hardy of the charges of public intoxication, driving under the influence, and the hit and run on Elias. So we got Hardy absolved from all of this, and everybody figured out that Sheamus was the culprit. But now the big logic gap here, Bruce. The big logic gap here, Bruce. If Sheamus is the culprit, if Sheamus was the one behind the wheel, and he drove this vehicle into Elias, but placed it on Jeff Hardy, and placed the blame on Jeff Hardy, and framed Jeff Hardy, then why isn't the police coming after Sheamus for attempted murder? Big logic gap there, you think, Bruce, right? What happened? I don't know if these guys are dumb or what. Now we got the big logic gap of, well, Jeff Hardy was framed, but what about running over Elias? Is anybody going to be blamed for that one? Anyway, Hardy and Elias, they were taken out of the IC title tournament. A part of this hit and run angle, Daniel Bryan wanted to face a new opponent But AJ wanted to advance automatically, like the heel he should advance automatically. Bryan ended up facing Sheamus after he won a 10-man battle royal. That was in the main event of last week's SmackDown. And then obviously Bryan won and he advanced to the finals to end up facing AJ Styles anyway. And then Braun Strowman defended, or is going to defend, his Universal Championship against the Miz and John Morrison in a handicap match at Backlash. Oh joy, oh joy. Bathroom break, here I come. Thank you for the 3-week notice, Bruce. WWE.com teasing tonight before the show that Miz and Morrison have a surprise for Braun Strowman tonight. Here's something, Bruce. Why don't you surprise us with a good fucking show? Seriously. The last 2 weeks haven't been bad. Now that the tournament's over, what happened? Back to the usual formulaic, boring SmackDown. You don't want to know what they did tonight with Braun Strowman. My goodness, man. It was like an episode of Double Dare. We had slime. We had exploding water bottles. We had fucking windshield mirrors or windows bashed in with baseball bats and golf clubs. Holy shit, man. You were better off watching Nickelodeon than watching SmackDown tonight. Awful. Awful. All this jam-packed into a 2-hour exhilarating SmackDown, folks. If that doesn't tickle your dick, I don't know what will. Let's dive into it. Thank you guys so much for joining me on the podcast tonight. I am JD, of course. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on that bell for all notifications if you want the very best in the IWC when it comes to WWE and pro wrestling related content right here on YouTube. Make sure you guys do that. I would really appreciate it. If you missed anything that I've uploaded this week, Monday Night Raw, AEW Dynamite, NXT, and we got Off the Script as of this afternoon. Go and check everything out. Plenty of content to fill your need this week. So go and check all that stuff out. Links are down in the description of this very video. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up as always. Helps out the video in the SEO search on YouTube. Also leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about SmackDown tonight, because that also helps out the video in the search as well. If you want to support the podcast via Patreon, you can always do that. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. And tonight's podcast is brought to you by my good friends over at The Ridge. Ridge.com/script. You're going to use code SCRIPT at checkout for 10% off one of these beauties right here. The Forged Carbon is what I got. And man, oh man, I'm not a big wallet guy, but when you get a Ridge, you're going to be a wallet guy. We'll go over them later on in the show, and I want to thank them for supporting Off the Script tonight for the SmackDown review for June 5th, 2020. Let's get on into the show, man. Starting at the top of the hour here, we got Jeff Hardy, of course. They started off with the hit and run. We ended last week's show with Jeff Hardy coming out of the police station and showing up to cost Sheamus' match against Daniel Bryan. So Jeff Hardy naturally would be the first thing that we see on the show. He made his way to the ring. And obviously, all of the decrepit and uncharismatic and tired, all the NXT superstars who don't want to be there, they were cheering along and giving whatever energy they had to this boring show. So they aired highlights of what happened last week, and Jeff Hardy was in the ring. Cole said that they have a medical update on Elias. He said he had a torn pectoral muscle and broken ribs and could miss a couple of months of action. Oh, I'm so heartbroken. SmackDown is going to die 1,000 deaths without Elias on the show. He may really be hurt. I have no idea, but Elias is going to be out for a couple of months. Hardy said it's great to see everybody. He thanked WWE management and Fox for giving him the time to get something off of his chest. He said last week the WWE Universe witnessed something awful. Something awful. Has he been watching SmackDown for the last couple of months? I'll show you something fucking awful, Mr. Hardy. That's why Jeff is still in WWE and Matt is in AEW. We need to rectify that immediately so he can get away from this awful. So he said last week the WWE Universe witnessed something awful, SmackDown, and the entire show was thrown into chaos. He said Elias, so last week's show was like a creative meeting with Vince McMahon is what you're telling me. Gotcha. He said Elias' injuries could have been a lot worse. He said he wanted to paint a different portrait from his POV, his point of view. He explained that he pulled up to the PC parking lot, and when he got out of the car, it felt like somebody hit him with an anvil. He said everything went dark, and the next thing he knew, police were lifting him up and asking him questions that he didn't have answers to. He said he smelled of alcohol and started to drift back into a place he said he never thought he'd go back to. He said he worked so hard for the last 8 months of sobriety, his career, his family, and he wondered how he could explain this to his family watching at home. How many more times could I beg for forgiveness, he said. The PC audience was applauding Jeff Hardy. Hardy got emotional and said, it's all good, it's all good. He said he's in the WWE for a reason. He said it's good to know he isn't on this path alone. He said he knows deep in his heart he did not slip up this time around on his own. He said he passed every sobriety test the police gave him. He said a witness showed up and said the person that was responsible for all of this had red hair and a red beard. So someone with red hair and a red beard got out of the car and fled the scene. Let me reiterate that for you guys again. Somebody got out of the car that had red hair and a red beard. Now, I'm going to take this opportunity to shit on the Universal Champion, Braun Strowman. Wasn't it last week where Braun Strowman said, well, I'm just over here, and I seen somebody get out of the car, and I seen him run that way? So you mean to tell me that Braun Strowman seen all of this happen? He said he's seen physically the culprit leave the vehicle and go that way, but he didn't see the culprit who had red hair and a red beard. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, folks, watching at home or listening to me on iTunes or Spotify or wherever the fuck you're listening to me. Don't you think Sheamus is quite the noticeable guy? If you seen Sheamus get out of a fucking vehicle, wouldn't you know it's WWE superstar Sheamus? How many people, Strowman, on your fucking brand does Sheamus look like? Who was it, Bozo the fucking clown? So, Braun Strowman, once again, man, defying logic of stupidity. So, obviously, when he knew it was Sheamus, he said he was furious and he couldn't wait to get back to the PC. He said the anger he felt could only be expressed through action. He said he tried to take everything away from him and he'll be damned if he lets him get away with all of this. Cole said explosive charges from Jeff Hardy. So Sheamus comes out. He walked out. Sheamus and Hardy were face to face now, ramp and in the ring. Once again, blaming other people for his problems, said Sheamus. Hardy's blaming other people for his issues. He said people like him always have excuses. People like Bruce always have excuses. People like Vince McMahon always have excuses. Just listen to one of his Wall Street conference calls. All it is an hour of excuses with shareholders. So the witnesses who lied are enablers. The WWE casuals are enablers for WWE to continue putting on garbage television. He told the audience to shut their traps when they started heckling him. Sheamus is awesome, by the way. He told Jeff to be a man and admit what he did. He said he's not a man, though. He's just a junkie. Hardy shook his head. Sheamus brought up his wife and kids. He said, don't worry about them because they're used to you being a junkie. Hardy then charged and attacked Sheamus. Sheamus came back and landed a bro kick. Sheamus then threw Hardy into the plexiglass, which is not very secure, by the way. And Graves said that they were disgusting statements, followed by a bro kick, and then he beat down Sheamus. Jeff Hardy came back and started beating down Sheamus. The audience chanted, you suck. And, well, actually, no, I'm sorry. Hardy didn't get any offense on Sheamus. I fucked up, man. Typos in my notes. I'm sorry. Sheamus was the one who beat down Jeff Hardy. The audience was chanting, you suck. And then Sheamus flexed on the stage and yelled out in front of all the NXT PC talent. And that was it. That was it. I'm sorry for that mess up there. I should take better notes, but this is SmackDown. Who gives a shit? So let's talk about it here, man. Everything that we seen last week and everything that we heard from Hardy this week, you know, I don't really mind it. I'm still in the boat of I don't really mind it. Do we need to know and do we need to hear Jeff Hardy being called a junkie when he's on the road to recovery, when he's on the road to sobriety? Probably not. Should we be bringing his wife, who he was involved in the real-life incident, into this? Should we really be poking the bear there? Where Sheamus is saying, your wife and your kids are used to it. You're a junkie. You're a loser. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that when they're on the road to recovery, on the road to sobriety. But this is WWE, folks. They will hit below the belt without any care in the world. Now, I'm still in the same boat as I was last week. I'm not bothered by it. The only thing I'm bothered by is the fact that it's happening way too soon. A, after his return back from whatever he was dealing with. And B, way too soon after him just going to rehab and trying to get better and trying to really get on that road to recovery. That's the only problem I have with this. This is WWE. They're going to bring it up eventually. If this is his road to redemption, this is going to be brought up eventually. So I'm not surprised that this is a storyline. Yes, it's uncreative. Yes, it's lazy. Yes, you should be thinking more so in regards to making this a feel-good story without stooping too low for Jeff Hardy. I get it, but this is WWE. In their eyes, they feel like if you continue to beat him down, then people are going to sympathize with him even more. If they bring his real-life demons and his real-life incidences into this storyline, people are going to sympathize with him more. Yes, I get it, but sometimes it crosses the line between too personal, too sensitive, and, you know, obviously WWE thinks that bringing a real-life angle into their television program is going to work. Most of the time it does work, but you got to tread carefully with something this personal, because this is not the first time he's fucked up before. He's fucked up time and time and time again, and you don't want to continue beating down somebody like that who is on the road to sobriety and on the road to recovery. The only thing I'm worried about here is, yeah, we can all chime in and say this is going to make Jeff Hardy even more over as a babyface. They're really going to sell you on the road to redemption. But what is his end goal here? What is Jeff Hardy's road to redemption? I don't think WWE even wants to give Jeff Hardy a road to redemption, because this is his last year in WWE. I don't think Jeff is going to stay in the WWE while Matt Hardy is enjoying life over in AEW, where he can be free and do what he wants. If you don't think that's an attractive offer for Jeff Hardy, you might not know Jeff Hardy or the Hardy Boys, or the difference between working in the WWE and working in an AEW. Now, WWE is going to try and keep Jeff Hardy as long as they can. They're going to try and make him an attractive offer when the time is right. And they might not want him to go anywhere else because they might think he'll relapse again and fall back into that pit again. And they don't want that to happen away from their watch. But I don't think Matt is going to allow him to do that. I don't think Tony Khan or Cody Rhodes is going to allow him to do that. I don't think AEW wants a PR nightmare with Jeff Hardy. But I honestly think him being away from everybody that cares about him is going to harm him more in the long run. So you got to watch out for Jeff Hardy's well-being in this instance. Is WWE really going to give him the road to redemption? The road to redemption is overcoming all of this garbage and winning the Universal Championship. Do you see them giving him a true road to redemption and having him the Universal Champion on SmackDown? I don't think so. What does WWE usually do when you're in a contract year and you don't re-sign or give them any hints about possibly re-signing with the company? You end up just like everybody else, buried. Buried. That's exactly where they're going with this. And that's the one thing I do fear. That's all I have to say about this. They made the announcement for Sheamus and Jeff Hardy at Backlash official tonight. So we'll see what happens at the pay-per-view, and we'll see what happens following this feud. It only ends one way. Jeff Hardy wins, and he moves on to the next. What does WWE do as far as storyline with Jeff Hardy, and who do they feud him with after Backlash? I don't know. But I'm not holding my breath for Jeff Hardy to achieve redemption on SmackDown in the WWE. Otis was walking backstage with Mandy Rose with his Money in the Bank briefcase. Otis noticed King Corbin's crown sitting on a chair. So he asked a production guy, and nobody was there. Corbin wasn't there. Nobody was there. He asked Mandy, so he picked it up. Mandy gave him the okay. He tried it on. "Oh, yeah," he said. And then he strutted away from the scene of the crime with Baron Corbin's crown. So Cole then said Mandy and Otis are so in love, and then Graves obviously objected to stealing Corbin's crown. Corbin, seen that his crown was missing, he asked one of the guys there standing in the back where it was. He said Otis took it. Corbin shoved him, and that was it. He went to go chase after Otis. There was a chair sitting there. They gave Baron Corbin's crown a chair. But they can't give any of these fucking PC talent chairs inside the Performance Center while they're watching all these multiple sets of tapings. Good job there, WWE. Good job. You gave a chair to Buddy Murphy on Monday Night Raw. You gave a chair to Austin Theory on Monday Night Raw. And you're giving a chair so that Baron Corbin may place his crown on said chair. But you can't give a fucking chair to anybody sitting in the crowd cheering on this horrendous program. I mean, am I losing my mind? Do I make sense? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? You gave a fucking crown a chair. Can we fix that? I stand with NXT. So we got Miz and Morrison. Hey. No. Miz and Morrison were spying on Braun Strowman. And he arrived in the arena. Braun Strowman can do one thing, folks. He can park a car. He's an excellent fucking parker. Unbelievable. So Miz and Morrison were hiding in a production truck. No beavers sighted on this evening. Miz made fun of Strowman driving an old car. It was Buick, I believe. Don't know what year, but he's driving a Buick. All the money that he's making, he's driving a fucking Buick. "Sweet car, bro," said Miz. Braun rolled up his suitcase into the PC, and some of the referees and people there were welcoming him into the PC. So Miz and Morrison, they said all of their coworkers and fans have been telling them they don't stand the chance. Morrison said they've been annoying. Miz imitated dumb fans. he was doing some making fun of the fans, all whom had a southern accent. Miz said some would say they're about to do this childish antics to Braun Strowman, but it's actually strategic because angry monsters make mistakes. Miz said by the time they get to Backlash, Strowman's life will be a living hell. So, Strowman's life is going to be like my life on Friday night at 8 p.m. on Fox. There you go. They had a spy cam on Braun Strowman in the refreshment area. Looked like a catering area. He poured water from a plastic bottle into a thermos, and it fizzed up. So I don't know what they did to it, but they sabotaged his thermos. Miz and Morrison celebrated very obnoxiously, over the top. Braun Strowman was really mad that he had spilled water all over the place. And that was it. He stormed off. Kayla interviewed Chad Gable. Yes, we go from Braun Strowman to Chad Gable. Mojo Rawley then interrupted, and he might have gotten lost. I'm not sure. Mojo Rawley is on SmackDown, apparently. Bro, you made the wrong turn. Catering is the other direction. The fuck you doing on SmackDown in an interview segment with Kayla and Chad Gable? I mean, I heard Titus had a great menu tonight. The fuck you doing on the show? So Chad Gable was being interviewed by Kayla. Mojo interrupted and said, "Sorry, little man." Yes, let's bring Chad Gable back and just reiterate the short jokes again. Bruce, man, you are fucking a comedic genius, bro. You are so creative in your way of thinking. Awesome. So there are far more important things to talk about, such as Rob Gronkowski tragically getting robbed of the 24/7 title. It is tragic that he even got a WWE contract. Mojo said his interview got cut short. Mojo laughed and said, "You see what I did there? It's funny because you're short." What are we, in second grade? Really? You bring Chad Gable back to SmackDown to have Mojo Rawley just fire off 3 short jokes in an interview. Unreal. Shorty said this was classic material. Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura then came up from behind. Shorty G, Chad Gable, there you go. I quit. I just called him by his WWE ridiculous name. Chad Gable, I'm sorry. Bro, if you're watching, I'm sorry. I'll give myself another. The price is wrong, bitch. I know. Chad Gable said this was classic material. Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura then came up from behind Chad Gable and attacked him. The New Day, seeing what was going on, so Big E and Kofi then ran up and yelled at them, and they scurried off. Great, we got another 6-man tag looming. I can't wait. Lacey Evans made her way to the ring. Great. Show just gets worse. Sonya Deville attacked her from behind. This was a shove that landed Lacey Evans right into the steel steps, but it wasn't Nia Jax-esque. Sonya, you may have to go ask Nia Jax how you make someone bleed on steel steps. I think you missed the mark by a couple of feet. Sonya smiled, and then we got a rematch with Lacey Evans and Sonya Deville. Since last week, they went to a double countout on SmackDown. So they got double the amount of time, and this one actually wasn't that bad. There was a weird spot in this match, and the referee was knocked over in a scuffle, in a melee between Sonya and Lacey Evans. So Lacey went for a leg lock and rolled into the referee's leg. He sold this knee injury and called for some help, and the match stopped. A medic and Jessica Carr, the other referee, female referee, came in to check on them, and she took over the match and the refereeing duties. The match continued after the break with Jessica Carr as the new referee. They showed a clip of Sasha attacking Lacey during the break as she was checking on the referee. Not Sasha, fucking Sonya. Got Sasha Banks on the mind. Can you blame me? So they showed a clip of all this happening with Sonya and Lacey before the referee got taken out. And then Sonya yanked Lacey off the ring apron to the floor by her neck, which looked absolutely ridiculous. Lacey Evans actually was a little busted open after the spot. And Sonya then stepped on her neck in the ring steps, or into the ring steps. Lacey yelled out in pain, so she was selling all of this beatdown by Sonya Deville. Back in the ring, Lacey made a babyface comeback with a flying clothesline. Both were down, slow to get up. They were selling the effects of the intensity of this match. Lacey landed a springboard, turning moonsault off the top rope for a near fall. Look at that. She does a better moonsault than Charlotte Flair. Unreal. And I don't even like Lacey Evans. She set up a neck breaker. Sonya countered with a knee. She landed a running knee to the chin for a 2 count. Sonya yelled, "Come on, come on." Sonya had some blood on herself because Lacey Evans was busted up over the bridge of her nose. Mandy Rose then interrupted via the big screen. So Sonya said, or Mandy said, "Sonya isn't a fighter, she's a failure." So Mandy said, "Sonya isn't a fighter, she is a failure." Sonya leaned over the top rope. She was like a dummy, yelling at the big screen as if the big screen is going to come down and attack her here. Yelling at Mandy, "Come and fight me in person, blah, blah, blah." She called her a Barbie doll, as if that's going to do anything. She's in the fucking screen, dummy. So Lacey spun her around and gave her a loser's right for the win. Mandy laughed, and Lacey Evans beats Sonya Deville. Don't know why Lacey Evans is beating the one woman who needs a victory here. The one woman who is probably the hottest woman outside of Bayley and Sasha Banks on SmackDown. Don't know why Lacey Evans is getting the win. Now, it's amazing to me how the storyline between Otis and Mandy and Dolph included Sonya. Dolph is nowhere to be found. Mandy and Otis are in love now. Storyline is apparently over. I'm just waiting for Mandy to turn on Otis and have him ruin his cash-in. But it's amazing, man, how the storyline that we all fell in love with because we wanted Otis to achieve all and get the girl and get the revenge on Dolph and beat up the bully. It's amazing how the storyline was supposed to get Otis and Mandy over, but it looks like Sonya is more over than both of them now, and it's continuing week by week by week. This entire angle was supposed to create a new superstar, not named Sonya Deville. And it's actually worked out better for Sonya Deville than it did Otis and Mandy Rose. I don't know if that was by design or if WWE had fucked up here. But, I mean, I know she wants to drop me, but Sonya Deville is looking really, really good. And I know I've seen some people on social media push Sonya to the moon. No, we don't need to push Sonya to the moon. Sonya is going to be ready when she's ready. Right now, it's about Sasha and Bayley. Continue building momentum for Sonya Deville, like they should have did tonight, but she lost. But it was due to Mandy Rose, like, in a stupid way. Mandy Rose wasn't even at ringside. She showed up on the big screen, and that caused Sonya Deville to lose. Right into a woman's right. But Sonya Deville needs to continue winning. She needs to be presented as a legitimate threat. So I hope that they continue building Sonya, because right now she is as hot as she has ever been on WWE television. Got another vignette from Matt Riddle. Please, bro, come to the show immediately. We need some adrenaline and some fucking excitement on this show. Bro. Man, I was never a wallet guy, but I got myself one of these bad boys right here. The Ridge. Today's podcast is brought to you by my good friends over at The Ridge. It's light, it's sleek, it's industrial, it doesn't fold or bend awkwardly. It doesn't bulge out of your back pocket unless your sister wants me to. I don't know what you're bulging out of your back pocket, but I'll show her a bulge anyway. But this wallet seriously changed my complete outlook on wallets, man. Most people are still using wallets designed in the 1990s. I used to shop for wallets at Hot Topic because they had cool Nintendo designs on it. Super Mario, Legend of Zelda, Batman, Metroid, whatever the case may be. Some really geeky, trendy stuff at Hot Topic. But this wallet changed my entire outlook on how to carry my most important stuff. Now, the wallet actually holds up to 12 cards, plus room for cash with a cash strap or a money clip. I have the money clip right there. There's over 30 colors, including carbon fiber and burnt titanium. I really love it. I've loved it for years now, but don't take my word for it. They got 30,000 five-star reviews that you guys should certainly take notice of. And it's durable, made of the most durable materials, meaning each wallet comes with a lifetime warranty. You could buy one wallet, and you can have this wallet for the rest of your life. The Ridge team is so confident that you will like it that they will let you test drive it for 45 days. And you guys can send it back for a full refund if you don't like it. Guys, this is the best wallet in the industry right now. I love that it doesn't bend. I love that it doesn't fold. I love that it doesn't scratch. I love that it has RFID blocking qualities. So you guys know that your ID and your card information are completely safe no matter what. You guys can get yourself one of these bad boys using our unique link, ridge.com/script. Use code SCRIPT at checkout. Plus, it's Father's Day coming up. Father's Day's coming up. Go get your father something nice, and there's nothing better than the Ridge, man. Free worldwide shipping and returns. Script is the code, ridge.com/script, and I want to thank them for supporting the SmackDown podcast right here on Off the Script. We got more Braun Strowman, meaning more of me getting up from my couch and going to do something else, anything else. Maybe it's to clean cat shit, cat piss. Maybe it's to go get another cold beverage. Maybe I need a bathroom break after my delicious dinner tonight. More Braun Strowman. He was interviewed by Kayla Braxton. More Kayla and less Braun, please. He said, Miz and Morrison are like two annoying bugs flying around your face, so let them have their fun. The only bug I see here that it's annoying is Strowman. Miz and Morrison then activated something from the production truck with a remote control, and we got fucking green slime being dumped on Kayla. So they obviously failed at nailing Braun Strowman with this green slime. Their plan did not work. Miz and Morrison argued over who screwed up. Miz told Morrison to place the bucket of slime to the left, and then Morrison was like, I did place it to the left. So clearly, they fucked up. Kayla was covered in green slime, and she's a trooper for taking this. It reminded me of something off of Nickelodeon's Double Dare, and that's exactly what the Universal Championship now is just sullied in. Double Dare antics going into Backlash with Miz and Morrison. Awful. And WWE, I said this on Twitter, they've opted to just go ahead with this nonsense with the Universal Championship just as an in-between feud before Bray Wyatt comes back and challenges Braun Strowman as the Fiend for the Universal Championship. They've opted to put this shit on the pay-per-view next Sunday instead of actually keeping the Universal Championship and Braun Strowman off of television. You could have Braun Strowman on television in a match, beating some jobbers. You could have had him cut a promo about how he is going to make this Universal Championship reign really mean something. But no, they want to go and do slime, and they want to go and do all of these shitty fucking unfunny antics for the Universal Championship. And they're actually going with Braun Strowman in a handicap match against a tag team at the pay-per-view. I don't get it. Now, the Universal Championship, I could talk about this all day long. You know, the Universal Championship, the WWE is their most important championship. Meanwhile, this could not be any farther from important. Imagine that. You're on a pay-per-view defending the most important championship in the entire company in WWE's management's eyes. And this is going to be a bottom-of-the-barrel match at Backlash. How do you feel? I would never present my most prestigious and most important title in a situation like this where it's not a big deal come the pay-per-view. They should be ashamed of themselves, really. They should honestly be fucking ashamed of themselves. They should have kept Braun Strowman off of television until Bray Wyatt was ready. Renee Young, she introduced Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles. Intercontinental Championship was looking mighty, mighty beautiful here. Shined it up real nice. Got it back from Sami Zayn. Bryan did his yes chant on his way to the ring. Styles was out, acting very heelish. Styles said Bryan was a fool last week and volunteered to skip a bye. And if not for Hardy, Sheamus would be standing here and not him. Bryan said Styles has his way of thinking and he has his, and he's okay with that. Styles said he took his bye because it was the smart move. And it was. Any good-natured citizen would have taken that bye and automatically been placed in the finals. Daniel Bryan wanted to work for it. He wanted to show everybody that by hard work, you get results. That's exactly what he did. Styles says he took his bye because it was the smart move. He said when he looks in the mirror, he sees the best champion WWE has ever seen. He said Bryan is all heart, and he's acting noble, but this is stupid. Bryan said Styles is trying to get under his skin, and it's not working. He said they have two entirely different worldviews and different visions of what it means to be Intercontinental Champion. Bryan said Styles will probably rarely defend the Intercontinental title because he thinks so few are worthy. Bryan said that he's a coward. He said he has a vision of being the IC champion, and that vision is defending that title every single week on SmackDown against any up-and-comers or legends. He said he doesn't. It really sounds familiar there, Bryan. Sounds familiar there, Bruce. Isn't Cody doing the same thing over on that other show there on Wednesday night with the TNT title? So he says he doesn't do it because it's noble. He does it because he wants to test himself and learn. He said being the best isn't who he is now, it's who he can be. So the audience was cheering. Bryan said he wants the audience to be excited every week, knowing there would be a title match and maybe their favorite can break through and win the title from him. That's me, he said. That's my vision. And he did this, and he cut a great promo, did Bryan. He made a great pitch as to why he should be the Intercontinental Champion. Styles says he doesn't believe in handouts. He said he believes in earning an opportunity. He asked how Drew Gulag earned the opportunity to be his coach and work in WWE. He said it sounds like a handout to him. He said he is willing to reach across the aisle and give Drew Gulag an opportunity tonight. He said the handout is going to turn into an ass whipping. And then Gulag came out. Drew came out and tackled Styles. They cut to commercial break. And we go right into Drew Gulak versus AJ Styles on SmackDown. Normally, I'd be excited about this, but this really didn't go too long. But before we get into the Gulak match with AJ Styles, this was great. This was great. This is exactly the right direction that WWE needs to start taking with the Intercontinental Championship. Now, the outcome of this Drew Gulak-AJ Styles match has me worried because I really don't have any issue with the match. I'm hearing it's fucking fantastic. I'm hearing that it is a match of the year contender, and they were given a lot of time. But I do not want AJ Styles to win the Intercontinental Championship. I think Daniel Bryan is perfectly suited for that championship, honestly. And I do think that they have a better story with Bryan winning it than they do if AJ Styles wins it. Could they continue the Bryan-Styles feud for the Intercontinental Championship? Sure. But you got to tie up loose ends first before you move on to have a full-fledged feud with AJ Styles. And that loose end is Sami Zayn. Because I anticipate Sami Zayn coming back to television. Now, with Daniel Bryan defending the title every single week on SmackDown, that could be fun. That's exactly what the Intercontinental Championship needs. So I hope that they go in that direction. I do feel that Bryan is right. If AJ Styles wins the championship, he's not going to really defend the championship, and it's just going to be like the United States Championship was on Andrade. They're not going to do anything with it. Or maybe, and this is me giving them the benefit of the doubt, which I should never do. Maybe AJ Styles wins the championship, Sami Zayn comes back and costs Bryan the Intercontinental Championship because of whatever reason. If I can't have it, then you're certainly not going to have it because you were the last guy I was feuding with. If AJ Styles wins it, that could honestly set up Matt Riddle's first feud. Imagine Matt Riddle coming on in and feuding over the Intercontinental Championship with AJ Styles going into SummerSlam. Bro, take my Ridge wallet. Take it all. I'm down. Maybe that's where they go. So the ending of this Gulak match ended in 5 minutes. So we got Gulak winning. Styles set up for a Styles clash, but he was very casual and nonchalant about it. Gulak tripped Styles and flipped over and leveraged his shoulders down for a 3 count because he was too cocky. Because it was Drew Gulak, he was too cocky. So Cole wondered what this does for Styles and his momentum going into the match next week with Daniel Bryan. Graves called it a shocking victory, but impressive for Drew Gulak. So we'll see what happens, man. WWE's got some decisions to make, and I guess we'll find out on Friday night. It should have that last full hour, almost the majority of the second hour next week, from what I'm hearing, on SmackDown for the IC title. Bryan wins it, they got an easy feud in Zayn. AJ Styles wins it, Zayn costs Bryan the title, and Matt Riddle comes on in, and that is AJ Styles' first feud. So we'll see what happens. Miz and Morrison showed up in the parking lot and admired the Buick that Braun Strowman drove in. It'd be a shame if something happened to it, said Miz. They saw a fly, quote unquote, flying around the windshield. Miz smashed the windshield with a golf club. Morrison then bashed it with a baseball bat over and over as Miz yelled very obnoxiously. So they were pleased with themselves, and they couldn't wait to see the look on Braun's face. This is Nickelodeon Double Dare Jackass like shit. Ridiculousness, MTV like shit for the Universal Championship, folks. I could not be any more just indifferent completely to the Universal Championship. It is actually a joke of a championship when you put it under this type of light. I don't understand why this is even a thing. They've opted to use this instead of keeping them off TV and making the title look, I don't know, important? Prestigious? Give me a break. Seems like Miz and Morrison are more so happy about fooling Strowman and making him look ridiculous instead of capturing the Universal Championship. That's the way I see it. New Day, Kofi and Big E and Chad Gable, because of whatever happened with Mojo Rawley earlier, led to a triple threat match. He teamed with Cesaro and Shinsuke, did Mojo. This one went 11 minutes, completely just formulaic, very ordinary 6-man tag. So they ended this with Mojo and Chad Gable going at it, and he scored a near fall on Chad Gable, did Mojo. After a hyperdrive, Shorty ducked a Mojo clothesline, tagged in Big E. He slammed Mojo as Kofi leapt off the top rope, and then Big E with the big ending for the victory, and that was it. So New Day and Chad Gable win in 11 minutes. Then they get their win over the heels, the dastardly heels of Nakamura, Cesaro, who loses again, and Mojo fucking Rawley on SmackDown. Awesome. Now they want to know why the ratings are so low, because Mojo Rawley's on the show. They went back to Miz and Morrison and watched Braun Strowman discover his car windshield bashed in. Miz and Morrison celebrated. Miz asked, "Is your life a living hell now, Braun?" "No, Miz, but thank you for asking. My life is a living hell every fucking Friday when I gotta watch this garbage on TV." Braun asked, "Where are they?" Because they broke his windshield. So Morrison said he doesn't know they're in the, Morrison said that he doesn't know they're in the van. A worker told Braun that they're in the nearby white van, so this guy gave their location away. The doors were locked. Miz says that they were safe in there. Morrison was excited and said that, "Ha ha ha, he cannot get us in here." Braun then discovered a camera and looked into it and vowed that both Miz and Morrison were dead men walking. Miz and Morrison then taunted him from the inside, even though he could not hear them or see them. Braun then vowed they are dead men again. And Braun began rocking the van, and then he lifted it and tipped it over, and then Braun was like, "Now that's funny. Ha 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 ha." Meanwhile, I'm not laughing about anything regarding these three gentlemen on SmackDown. I'm laughing that the Universal title is being used as a joke. As a joke, but this is WWE, so I'm not surprised. Main event time. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross versus Sasha Banks and Bayley for the Women's Tag Team Championships. This one was given a decent amount of time in the main event slot. Wasn't sure what WWE was going to do here, but we got new tag team champions, folks. We got new tag team champions. And I love it. You might not like it, but I love it. Why? I'll tell you why in a second. Let's get into this match, man. So they gave these two teams 15 minutes, and we got back and forth with Cross and Sasha. We got some back and forth with Alexa and Sasha. We got some back and forth with Bayley and Cross. Some good stuff here. So we'll pick it up after the commercial break, because there was a commercial break in this thing. So the heels were in control. We got Sasha Banks and Bayley controlling. They isolated Cross on their side of the ring. Banks hit a running double knee in the corner for a near fall. Banks slowed the pace down, working a very heel-like fashion. Cross fought back, got the hot tag from Bliss. Bliss ran wild and scored a near fall. Bliss then attempted twisted Bliss, but Banks tripped her up. Bayley hit a Bayley to belly off the second turnbuckle, and Banks hit a running knee for a near fall. Bliss fought back, sent Banks face first into the turnbuckle. Cross gave Bayley a tornado DDT on the outside. Bliss then hit a sunset bomb, or a code red, for Banks for a near fall. It's amazing how Alexa Bliss hit code red on Sasha Banks, and Sasha Banks loves training with the amazing red. Might be a little jab there at Sasha Banks. Either way, got a near fall. Banks tried to make a hot tag, but Bayley was on the floor. Banks hit the bank statement, but Bayley made the blind tag, and she came into the match, making Banks leave the ring. Banks was not happy. So Sasha Banks had the bank statement on Nikki Cross, and she was about to tap. It looked like she was about to tap, but Bayley tagged herself in. So realistically, from what we've seen here tonight, Bayley almost cost her team winning the tag team championships. So Banks tagged back in, locked in the bank statement on Cross. Bliss tried to make the save, but Bayley on the outside pulled Bliss from the outside of the ring, or from the inside of the ring outside, so she stopped Bliss from making the breakup here. Bliss tried to make the save. Bayley cut her off. Cross tried to roll up Banks, but Banks countered into a crucifix with the surprise victory, and Sasha Banks and Bayley win the Women's Tag Team Championships. And that's the way SmackDown goes off the air. Folks, the Women's Tag Team Championships mean absolutely nothing. They mean absolutely nothing here. So for everybody, and I know there'll be some idiots out there who are upset about their Bliss and Cross tandem, their favorite tag team, the Bliss Fits are going to be angry, or the Cross Fits, or whatever, the Cross Bliss Fits are going to be fucking upset. Whatever the fuck you guys are calling yourselves, you fucking bots on social media. You fucking geeks on social media. The tag team championships mean nothing. What exactly were Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross doing with the tag team championships? Nothing. They were holding them hostage. Now, you might be saying, oh, well, they were in a feud with the Iconics, man. The Iconics? The Moronics? The Idiotics? That's what you want your tag team titles to be doing. A feud with the Bliss CrossFits and the Iconics, the Moronics, the Idiotics, the stupid Conics, whatever the fuck you want to call them. The Get Off My TV Onyx. That's what you want your tag team titles to be doing. The tag team championships have never meant any less than they do now. So instead of keeping them on a team that has no competition, why don't you put them on a team in which they don't need to defend them, but rather you would use them as some fuel. You would use these titles as a way to either kickstart what we all see coming and further the feud between Sasha and Bayley. I would much rather them do that and use the tag team titles for the greater good there than keep them on Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, who will do nothing with them. There's no reason to pad their stats. There's no reason to keep the championships in irrelevancy. Now they're still in irrelevancy, but at least they're being used for something that makes sense, for something that's going to be of great importance, for something that people are actually going to enjoy. We're not going to enjoy Bliss and Cross against the Iconics, the Moronics, the Stuponics, the fucking Get Off My TV Onyx, the Idiotics. We're not going to enjoy that. Nobody's going to enjoy that. If you do, you're a simple-minded buffoon. But we're going to enjoy the tag team championships on a legit tag team as this legit tag team fucking splits themselves away from each other and it causes a breakup, which leads to Sasha and Bayley one-on-one for the greater prize, the SmackDown Women's Championship. This is simple, folks. This is simple. Now, you could do this in any which way you want. You could have Bayley continue acting the way that she will because she's now Bayley 2 belts. And Sasha's just going to get fed up to a point where she says, fuck this tag team. You don't consider me equal. And she'll turn on Bayley. Or you could book this in a way where Bayley costs them the tag team championships, whether they lose them back to the Bliss CrossFits or another team. I would prefer it to be anybody else but the teams that they have in the division, the teams, and I use that word loosely, teams. Have them lose the championships to somebody and just have Sasha be so upset that Bayley cost her a championship. Meanwhile, Bayley still has a championship, even though she lost the tag team championship, you know? So either way you look at it, I think this is going to be great. Now, what I would really do in an ideal world, in a perfect world, I would have Sasha and Bayley win these titles like they did tonight and burn them and get rid of them. I would actually retire the tag team championships after this because there's no sense in using them after Sasha and Bayley get done using them to further their feud. So that's what I would do. In a perfect world, that's exactly what I would do. Burn the fucking titles because they're absolutely irrelevant and unimportant in every sense of the word on WWE TV. Nothing more than a prop. They are worth nothing. But this was great. Gets the titles off a tag team that really didn't deserve to be tag team champions to begin with, and gets them away from a feud with the Iconics to further their own feud, which is going to be used as fuel to break these two up in any which way they want. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. And you know what? It's great. I'm done. I'm getting out of here. Thank you guys so very much for all of your support on Off the Script. If you enjoyed the podcast, hit that thumbs up. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. That is on Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. Check out Off the Script. Uploaded earlier this afternoon, episode 329. Part number 1. Go and check that out. We talk about the inhumane treatment that the WWE PC talent is just undergoing right now by WWE management during these recent set of TV tapings. So make sure you guys go and check that out. And Road Dogg pretty much spelled out the failure that will be Adam Cole on the main roster while he was interviewed by Corey Graves on After the Bell. You don't want to hear my rant on that. What he said? He said if Adam Cole was the size of Karrion Kross, he would already be the Universal Champion. So thank you, Adam Cole. Thank you, Adam Cole, for your service in NXT. You are doomed to fail on the main roster, according to D-O-double-G-O. You didn't know? Good shit there, dog. Good shit there. How you book him for 3 years at NXT and then say, well, if he was as big as Karrion Kross, he'd already be Universal Champion. Yeah, great. So make sure you guys go and check that out. And again, hit that thumbs up. I'm getting the hell out of here. I'll see you guys right back here tomorrow with episode 329, part number 2. Vince McMahon offering contracts to all of these released WWE superstars for less money. And what he did to Zack Ryder after he was released. Got a funny story there. Make sure you check it out tomorrow afternoon, 5 p.m. I'll see you guys right back here for 329, part 2 of Off the Script. See you guys then.